Hi, welcome to One Acadiana's Candidate Conversation series. I'm Keely McGibney. This is Andre Bro here on the team at One Acadiana. We're bringing you candidate conversations so that you can get to know candidates for office across Lafayette Parish.
That's right. And for this chat, we're joined by Walter Campbell, candidate for Lafayette Parish Assessor. Walter, thank you for being with us.
Glad to be here.
So we'll start with an easy question. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Walter Campbell, and what is your background in the community?
I'm a realtor. I've been a realtor for 24 years. I sell commercial and residential real estate. I value property every day. Happens to also be what the assessor does every day. I've been very active in our community for many years. I'm the proud father of an Eagle Scout. Our clerk of court, Louis Perrette, and I worked together in the Boy Scouts at Our Lady of Fatima, and we're both grateful fathers of Eagle Scouts. Additionally, I have served on the advisory committee for Habitat for Humanity for many years. I've also been a part of Kiwanis of Acadiana for 17 years and have been president of that organization twice. And currently I sit on the board of advisors for the Lafayette Salvation Army. In my professional world as a realtor, I'm a former president of our board of realtors, and I've served at the Louisiana Realtor Association as a board member many times. And in my company that I've been 14 years, Keller Williams, I've served as CEO and as regional manager.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing all that. And it's a great transition into our next question, which is what inspired you to run for public service? Why assessor?
Well, clearly because of my real estate background. Assessment is a very, very important responsibility in our parish. And I think that the most qualified candidate must have a real estate experience, must have real estate experience. And I believe that my 24 years as a realtor highly qualifies me to assess property. It's what I do every day.
Well, we know
I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut you
okay.
off. Just for the record, I've been talking with our current assessor, Conrad Como, since 2008 about my interest in being our next assessor. So this is not a whim. This has been a long time coming. I have done a lot of homework in the meantime, and I'm prepared to be the next assessor.
Well, based on that homework, for those who might not know, can you tell us a little bit more about the scope of responsibilities of the assessor?
It's very clear to me, and I find that a lot of voters don't know that the primary responsibility of the 64 parish assessors is to value commercial real estate, residential real estate, and business assets. That is the sole responsibility. And then the assessor turns those values over to the sheriff, and the sheriff to the tax collector. And that's where our tax bills come from. And that's who you pay your taxes to, is the tax collector who works for the sheriff. A lot of people think that because the former name of the position was Lafayette Parish Tax Assessor, I'd like to get rid of the word tax because it's really the Lafayette Parish Assessor. That's the responsibility. And of course, in addition to that, the assessor is responsible for taking into consideration homestead exemptions and marketing that to homeowners, senior freezes and marketing that to seniors. I've been walking door to door and meeting with a lot of seniors who did not know that the senior freeze was available to them. And also reaching out to disabled veterans. Disabled veterans, we've voted not only once, but a couple of times to give them benefits as well. So, and then last but not least, if folks are confused about how their taxes are created, how their tax bill, what it's based on, and so forth, the assessor is there to explain that. I find that part of the business of the assessor is customer service. And I don't mean waiting there all day to speak to somebody. How about if the assessor reaches out to you guys as voters and just say, I'd like to explain how your tax bill came about. Here are the millages. Here's the value of your home. You put those two together, and here's how your tax bill is created. So, and then the assessor, of course, hears appeals to their valuation. And what I would say if God willing and voter willing, I'm elected assessor on October 14th. When I take office in January of 2025, I will create streamlined processes for appeals and other processes in the assessor's office.
Well, great. Thank you for the overview and telling us more about the office. And you touched on this earlier, but given all of those responsibilities, can you dig more into your professional experience and how it prepared you, how it qualified you to be the assessor?
I've been a realtor for 24 years. I've been a broker for 22 years. I've run my own company. I've been a leader at Keller Williams. I've been the statewide broker for Keller Williams, which is a very, very important responsibility because we have hundreds of agents in the state of Louisiana. And part of that is teaching classes on valuation, teaching classes on measuring properties. I've done a lot of work with appraisers as well, because our valuation model and the assessor and the appraiser's valuation model, and frankly, the assessor's valuation model are very similar. So I have thankfully been well educated in valuation, and I feel that I'm the best qualified candidate in this race.
And we know, as you've been talking about, you have a specific set of duties and responsibilities. The assessor has a specific set of duties and responsibilities. But if you were to be elected, as you would go about those duties, do you have any priorities or strategies you would be looking to implement?
Yes. Number one, I would like to improve the technology. I developed my platform, my campaign platform, by listening to voters. And so as a realtor, a lender, a title attorney, an abstractor, an appraiser, a landman, landwoman, anybody that works in the city offices, many of them, we all use the assessor site every day. In fact, when I go to my browser and I type the letter L, LafayetteAssessor.com comes up. That's how much I use it. Not only Lafayette, but I use all of Acadiana's assessor sites. And what the fellow users have said is we need a lot of improvements in the assessor site. So, for example, in Acadia Parish, from the assessor site, you can download recorded instruments, surveys, plats, things like that. You pay for them, but imagine getting in your car and going downtown and going to search for those things in the clerk's office. Once you get in the clerk's office, it's a great experience. Louis Brett runs a top shop. However, getting in there it has some challenges. So what I'd like to do is offer similar things, like you can buy recorded instruments right from the assessor site. Additionally, if you go over to Iberia Parish, there's a picture of the subject property on the assessor site, not on Lafayette's, but in Iberia's and St. Landry's. And there's also a sketch of the outline of the property with the square footage. So at least those of us who use the site can confirm the subject property that we're reviewing. Secondly, I'd like to do a lot more outbound communication, particularly to seniors and to disabled veterans. I would like to take advantage of public service announcements. I'd like to go to Lamar for their digital billboards. I'd like to go to TV and radio, and I want disabled veterans talking to disabled veterans. I'd like seniors talking to seniors about the senior freeze and the disabled veteran tax benefits that are available to them. Thirdly, I would like to consolidate many of our city parish databases into one secure database. I know it can be done because Acadia Parish just completed it. I'm very excited about that because I know they've been working on it a while. And I've already talked to our clerk of court and our sheriff, and they both agree that if we had one consolidated secure database, it would benefit everybody. Number one, it would reduce administration costs because you wouldn't have to administer multiple databases. Number two, I believe that it would, in the end, save taxpayers money, or at least those departments would be able to reallocate those funds that they wouldn't be using on administration. In fact, I spoke to the sheriff, Mark Garber. He said, Walter, if I could focus on law enforcement, which the voters hired me to do, instead of managing a database, how much more effective do you think I could be? A lot more. And then last but not least, is I didn't realize that this was a problem, but evidently we have an issue with homestead exemption fraud. And many say, what are you talking about? Just like I did. I found out about it a year ago. And one of our realtors brought it to my attention. He said one of his clients was taking 4 homestead exemptions on 4 different properties in 4 different parishes. So I asked Conrad Como, our current assessor, how that can be. First I asked him, is this real? And he said, yes. I said, how can this be? He said, well, because the 64 parish assessors don't talk to each other. Okay. So doing my homework, I called the assessor over in Acadia Parish. His name is Jimbo Pettijohn, very wonderful man. And I asked him, is this real? And he said, absolutely. In fact, it happened just today. I said, wow, tell me more. He said one of the residents in Rain was taking a Louisiana homestead exemption, and they owned another property in North Carolina. They were taking a homestead exemption in North Carolina. Now, you guys probably know how many homestead exemptions were allowed anywhere. 1, right? So I said, so what do you do? He said, well, I ended their homestead exemption in Louisiana, and now we're collecting more funds in Acadia Parish. Well, I went and met with all the mayors, and except for one, I'm waiting to meet with that mayor this month, and police chiefs. And one of the police chiefs said, it's rampant. I said, what do you mean it's rampant? He said, homestead exemption fraud is rampant. I said, that's crazy. He said, what you should do once elected is go get the same application that Acadia Parish is utilizing, find out who is taking multiple exemptions, and I'll bet you'll recover $1 million in unpaid property taxes. I was like, holy moly, that's a good return on investment. So those are the things that I'd like to focus on. In addition, I'd like to do things like streamlining, like I told you earlier, senior benefits, disabled veteran benefits, the appeals process. In real estate, we use a scheduling program for everything. Like if I wanted to go show a home, I can schedule it on my cell phone, on my laptop, or I can call. It's just a lot more pro technology. And I didn't say this earlier, but before I was in real estate, I was in the information technology industry for about 10 years. So I'm very familiar, even though I may not be 100% up to date with all the vernacular that's used today, I'm still very familiar with the concepts of database management and IT. So hope that helps.
It does. And I think you did a great job outlining your platform. Is there anything else you would like to say to the voters of Lafayette Parish about why they should choose Walter Campbell for assessor?
Well, I believe my real estate career has been based on integrity and on customer service. And if the voters of Lafayette Parish want a person that can appeal to just about everybody, they need to vote for Walter Campbell. Additionally, I'm proud to be the only Republican endorsed candidate in the race. That's a big deal to me. I've been a conservative businessman since I was 18. And I've been a Republican since I turned 18 as well. And I think that for the conservative, whether you're Republican or Democrat, I think Lafayette is generally very fiscally conservative, parties aside. And so I would bring that same thing. If I can't afford it in my household, I save for it. I don't go asking my dad for some money. So we have to do the same in government. So I think at least you have to be very you have to be very prudent, because I know that the tax dollars aren't my money. It's not my money. It's our money. And so just like my household, it has to be spent very well.
Well, thank you, Walter. We really appreciate your time today to help the community get to know you more. And that's always kind of where we end with our last question. How do voters engage with you? How can they get more information?
I'm available on my cell phone. I published my personal cell phone when I qualified for the race. It's 337-251-6500. Also, what a lot of people do is they reach me through my Campbell for Assessor on Facebook page. I've got pictures of events, and you get to see all of the things that I'm doing. I've been walking door to door for 8 weeks now. This is my 8th week, and I love it. I love the conversations. I love the interaction. If anybody has an organization that they'd like me to speak at, whether it be a civic organization or a homeowners association or anything like that, I'd be delighted to speak with them. I've already spoken at a bunch, and the response has been very positive. As well, I have a website, campbellforassessor.com. So I would love the voters of Lafayette to consider me, support me if they're interested, and most importantly, on October 14th, to vote for Walter Campbell for assessor.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again. That was Walter Campbell joining us. He's a candidate for Lafayette Parish Assessor. Walter, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck in the weeks ahead.
Thank you.